and coffee. So Watson Solomon Duke has resigned effective December 31st from the PSA. Now, what message does that send to Trinidad and Tobago? What message would the media paint? Is it that Watson Duke was so conflicted and was in such a wrong, terrible position that he was forced to resign from one of his positions because he's a terrible leader, and how could he be so conflicted? Or is it that Watson Solomon Duke, the PDP, Farley Augustine, uphold the highest tenets of Westminster, believe that democracy is alive, listen to the people, follow, lead, put God in front? Is it that Watson Duke is a man of character and class? That Watson Duke wants to serve the people of Tobago and Trinidad properly? That Watson Duke wants to lift the bar of behavior in public life? Is it that, or is it what the media is going to spin? That Watson Duke was so conflicted that he was forced to do it, that he was weak, he's a weak leader, and therefore he is pliable and he listens to people, and that's a negative because the media upholds the arrogant, ridiculous position of Keith Rowley? Is Watson Duke more conflicted than Keith Christopher Rowley, who sat on the National Security Council and as Prime Minister, who chose the Minister of Energy, who selected the boards of Petrotrin, who was the head of the government, the executive, when his good friend was accused and reports were in about fake oil, and Rowley sat there, did not recuse himself, took decisions that we have seen over the last few years, have presented his good friend who whines and dances and cusses and uses racial epithets when the PNM wins because he loves Stuarty and he loved Rowley, and if he didn't have a wife, he'd have married two of them. He loved them like hog love mud. And Rowley puts his own personal attorney, an attorney who, if asked by the media or if asked by any official person or group, does not have to divulge any conversation that he had with Keith Christopher Rowley, because that's his personal attorney and it's covered by attorney-client privilege. Was Watson Duke more conflicted than an attorney general sitting in a cabinet, stepping out for coffee and letting his brethren them approve not only $23 million in rent, but $38 million to outfit a building that he was incapable of outfitting before swearing in to be the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago? Was Watson Duke more conflicted than Stuart Smallpin Young, who had to recuse himself over 37 times from the cabinet as his father and his brother received largesse from the government, winning tenders for financial projects, zero before Stuart Young swore in and 3.81 billion after? When these recusal ministers, 210 times they recused themselves, including the Prime Minister, turning the cabinet into a business opportunity, a negotiating opportunity, an opportunity for their friends, families, and wives to get contracts. Is Watson Duke more conflicted than them? Or is Watson Duke a higher level caliber of man? Is the PDP a better political party? Is the PNM an old brigade of corrupt web and spider all over your money? Is Watson Duke conflicted? Will the media put him as a weak man? He was bullied and he had to take decisions like they did to Kamla Persad-Bissessor, who once there were allegations of a minister's conduct, just allegation. She said, listen, you have to resign because we must not only be fair, we must appear to be fair. And this was the highest order of Westminster. But the media turned around and called Kamla corrupt, said that her decisions were bad, that she showed poor judgment because ministers had to resign, even though she was upholding the highest tenets of Westminster. But Rowley, in his first iteration, left a man convicted of driving drunk, left him in the Senate and the media and Arrive Alive, and everybody said, okay, a man who drank to excess, got behind the wheel of a deadly vehicle, a deadly machine, and could have plowed down and killed anybody's children, wife, and family, left in the Senate for 3 full years after being convicted. Keith Rowley and his recusal twins. Keith Rowley, who approved Bridgman. Keith Rowley, who's conflicted across the board with Warner Construction, Alan Warner, Kind Townsend, Inez Gate, Inez Investments, all over the place. Keith Christopher Rowley, who's conflicted so much he doesn't know how to fill out his Integrity in Public Life Act. But he is still there because he is stubborn. He is Machiavellian. He rules by fear. He does what he wants. And then Guardian Media tries to have an interview with Kamal Georges dressing up like a mini me, a mini Rowley, a mini K-Pax liquor to come and show us that Rowley is somehow viable. Is Watson Duke weaker than Rowley? Is he a bad leader because he listened to the people and did the right thing? Y'all choose what y'all want. Y'all want a clown, and that's why we're in pain. That's why Omicron could come true. Woman could take PCR test positive and end up in here. But the real truth is that the borders are porous. So 1 or 2 slipping through the normal, ridiculous, silly travel pass that does not exist, that no information is really sharing, that no digital, nothing, no computer. The Ministry of Digitization didn't even have a website at the budget time when Kamala Prasad says a check to do some analysis and research for her contribution. The real threat is the porous borders. The normal COVID came through the porous borders. The Brazilian variant came through the porous borders. The Delta variant came through the porous borders. And the Omicron has come through the porous borders. So don't believe all of this distraction. Watson Duke, big up, respect, big man thing. Rowley, you're a scumbucket. So all of y'all who vote for Rowley, God help all you. All you're voting for what looked like in that suit 10 days ago. All you're voting for that same color, that same texture, that same kind of tutu suit. Go ahead. And that's why he's turning our country into that. And people are running. Brain drain is at the highest level in the history of our country. Higher than 1983, 84, 85. Imagine that. If our country get brain drain, we left with the likes of Rowley and his dunce cabinet for what? Forever? Well, you think now or forever hold thy peace. Watson, big up.